And
Hi, how are you this week?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, tell me about your week. How have things been going?
Um, Things are, you know, a little annoying with school.
What's
They
going on there?
they want me to start coming in for half days in the morning, and just because my attendance sucks, and I don't know, I don't even really want to do mornings anymore.
Yeah, I remember you saying when we first met that you were struggling to get to school. What do you think our current holdup is right now of getting there?
Well, there's just nothing going on there anymore. None of my friends are at school anymore, and I have a boyfriend now, and he doesn't go to the same school.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship. Tell me about him.
Well, he's older by a little bit. He's my first boyfriend, and he likes to sing, and he's in kind of a band, but they're not really that good. Um, I don't know. So I don't get to see him unless I'm not in school. So I kind of dip out of school, and that gives me some time to hang out with him.
Does he go to school at all?
Sometimes he's supposed to be graduating, but I think he's just gonna probably end up getting his GED.
What does he think about you not being in school?
He likes it because I get to spend time with him.
Mm. Is that causing any kind of conflict with your parents?
Um, my mom and dad don't really care. I live with my grandparents now, so it's they're old and they don't really pay attention to what I'm doing. And my parents didn't graduate high school. They got their GEDs too, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Hmm. So you're feeling like you want to get your GED.
Yeah, I want to start working so I can make some money.
Okay. Have you thought about, your 5-year plan? What does that look like?
5 years is a long time to think. I don't know. If we make some money, my boyfriend and I make some money, we just kind of want to get out of here. Um, I don't really think too much about a long-term plan.
Okay.
First boyfriend, so I've never been with somebody before.
How has that relationship been going? Do you feel happy?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. We fight sometimes,
Hmm.
but it's just kind of over, stupid stuff.
What was your last fight about?
Oh, we were fighting because it's kind of embarrassing to talk about, but he wants me to do certain things that I'm not super comfortable with, like going out and hanging out with his friends that I don't really know, and getting into that kind of stuff.
Okay. So do you voice those concerns and it turns into a fight, or how does that look like?
Um, I just kind of get really quiet and just sit around, and I'm just kind of keep to myself. And I think he can kind of tell that, I'm not the life of the party, and that I don't want to be there. And then it brings him down because his friends ask why his girlfriend's so lame. And then we usually end up leaving. And, sometimes he'll yell at me and call me some names, but it's all right.
How do you feel during the times when those are happening?
Um, Sometimes I want to fight back, but sometimes it hurts my feelings and I cry. And then, he kind of makes fun of me because I'm crying, like calls me a baby and a spoiled brat.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So I'm curious. How do you describe a healthy relationship?
Well, I watch my mom and dad, and compared to the stuff like I see on TV, my mom and dad seem like they fight quite a bit, and they fight about money and who's going out and who's coming over, and but when I see relationships on TV, it seems a little fake to me. But I mean, they all seem like they all have their own problems.
Hmm. Do you think your mom and dad are happy?
No,
Okay.
uh, they yell a lot and they're not really around each other very often. And, I have a lot of brothers and sisters, so they're busy and one's out of work and one goes to work sometimes. So it's kind of confusing as to what's going on and who's going to be around.
Hmm. Hmm. Can you find similarities in like your relationship as what you're seeing with your mom and dad?
I don't think I really thought about it.
That's fair. If I encourage you to think about it, what would that look like? I know that's a really tough question.
Like, I, yeah, do you want me to like write it down? Or,
Maybe just the first couple things that come off to the top of your head when you think about, you and your boyfriend and then your mom and dad.
well, we all kind of fight a lot and yell, and I do hear my mom call my dad names sometimes and call him a loser and a deadbeat.
Do you know of any relationships where that doesn't really happen in?
Not any that I'm around. That's kind of like what I see on TV and, the reality shows that I watch.
Hmm. Do you think people are like have control over how they treat other people?
I think sometimes, but, sometimes people do things to make you mad and you want to fight back and you say things that can hurt their feelings back too.
Hmm. Do you think that's appropriate?
No, I think
Hmm.
it's mean.
Yeah. The ways that, you've been mentioning, like in this today, that you have had your boyfriend's treated you, like, do you see yourself like treating any of your friends that way?
Like my girlfriends, my
Hmm.
girls,
Hmm.
because my friends don't say things to me that are mean to make me want to fight back. They're they're we're nice. We're cool with each other.
What do you think would happen if your girlfriends did start treating you that way? Do you think you would continue to be friends with them for very long?
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. Okay. Okay. So, do you see a little bit of a connection here at all? Why I might be interested in why that dynamic with your friends are so different comparatively to what you're telling me the dynamic with your boyfriend is?
Yeah, I see it, but I mean, I don't really know how to change it
Yeah.
because I mean, it's new. I've never had a boyfriend before and I don't want him to break up with me.
Right, right. And that's definitely understandable. Have you ever heard of a concept called boundaries?
No,
No.
not a lot. Sometimes my teachers will talk about that, like when people are crossing lines at
Yeah.
school. Is that what that is?
Yeah. So definitely like the first part of what you said, when people are crossing lines. A line is a boundary. Um, and here's the thing, lines don't just exist at school.
Okay.
Lines exist everywhere, and every person has a line. So, like I said, line is a boundary. And a key indication that your boundary has been being crossed is where you describe that getting sad, wanting to cry, or getting really angry and wanting to fight back.
Okay.
That's your nervous system, your body telling you, mm. my line has been crossed.
Okay.
So, can you think of times, other places where maybe your line has been crossed in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever said something to another person about your line being crossed? Have you ever vocalized that before?
No, I don't really talk about that kind of stuff because I don't want people to go and talk about me and tell anyone else.
Yeah, that's fair. That can be really, really scary. Have
Yeah.
you ever, when your teachers talk to you guys or the other students about crossing a line, what does that look like?
Well, it's like if someone in the middle of class calls someone a name, I don't want to say it in front of you because I don't want to be mean. Um, Call someone else a name because of how they dress or what they look like, the teacher says, that's crossing the line, or if they tell the teacher where to go, if they don't like the assignment, that's crossing the line. And then they usually have some sort of consequence where they have to go and deal with it somewhere else.
Mm, okay. So you're saying when somebody does something that they're not supposed to, crosses the line, your teacher calls out the behavior and then there is a consequence.
Right.
Do you think that when the teacher does that, it teaches the students to not do those kind of behaviors?
Some of the students, some of them don't care. They keep doing it over and over again. But some of them, like a couple of my friends, they get in trouble when they get home. The consequences, and they don't like being singled out. They feel kind of foolish. So, and they
Mhm.
just don't want to deal with it. They have stuff to do after school, so they don't want to stay after school and miss sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think your classroom would be like if your teacher didn't do that?
Oh, it'd be nuts. It'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very crazy, right? Everybody would do whatever they wanted.
That's right. There'd probably
Yeah.
be fights and all kinds of stuff going on. Stuff being stolen. Who
Mhm.
knows?
Can you see a connection where sometimes your life could feel a little bit like a classroom without a teacher making rules?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of rules at home,
Yeah, you
so
know.
there's no one to really tell me no or keep track of things. I
Hmm.
mean, I know the difference sometimes, but like I just kind of get to do whatever I want.
And it sounds like, for the most part, people get to do whatever they want around you too. That's a two-way street, huh?
Hmm.
Hmm. How do you think your life would be different if you were able to kind of act like the teacher in the classroom and call out things and put consequences when people cross the line in your life?
I think that would be really hard,
Hmm.
but I don't think I would mind telling somebody what to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Back
Can you,
up.
yeah, yeah. Can you find any benefits that you would gain if you were able to tell people what to do sometimes?
I'd be the boss.
Hmm. Hmm. How do you think your emotions would change? How do you think your mood would change if you were the boss sometimes?
Well, I probably wouldn't cry. I'd probably be a little bit happier too.
Hmm.
But I think I would still worry about losing some people, like not wanting to be around me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm. That's it's a tough line to sit on, you know? The fear not of losing people, the people that we like not wanting to be around us.
I want people to like me still, and
Hmm.
I don't want to, push them too far away where they won't come back. But then, I don't know, maybe some of them would stick around.
Right, right, right. Because on this other hand, we're living in this world where we're sad and we're angry because kind of people are just doing what they want to do. They're saying what they want to say to us.
Mhm.
You know, if you had somebody that you really cared about, do you have a best friend?
I do.
What's your best friend's name?
I don't really want to tell you her name, but we'll call her Anna.
Okay. Well, so Anna, she's sitting on this teeter-totter.
Okay.
On one hand, she really doesn't want to lose people and wants people to like her. On the other hand, kind of wants to get a little bit of control and not feeling so sad all the time. Which direction do you think you would push Anna towards?
Being happier.
Yeah. Why would you push her that way?
I don't want to see my friends bummed out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think your friends like to see when you're bummed out when people do that to you?
No, some of them even told me that my boyfriend's a dick. So, and they don't want to hang out with me and hang out with him at the same time. But I, I don't know. Like, I've never had a boyfriend before, so I don't know if anybody else is going to like me or not. So I don't want to, I have other friends, but I don't want to not have a boyfriend.
Yeah. And that's really reasonable. As a human being, we all want people to like us. And when you're first starting dating, that's a big deal. And I totally get that.
And some
Um,
friends are like, we do art projects and stuff like that, and I'm not getting into my art as much as I used to because he thinks it's stupid and kind of a waste of time. So
yeah. So what do you think? What if we come up with a little bit of a game plan? So I totally get it. This boundaries word that I have taught you this week is very scary, and I totally hear not wanting to lose people. But I also hear a person who doesn't want to keep feeling the way that they've been feeling lately.
yeah,
So what if next week we keep expanding on this boundaries, you just keep paying attention to that feeling that I've talked to you about, when you get real sad, or when you have that urge to fight back, and start keeping little mental notes. I mean, if you want to take physical notes, you can too, but just mental notes of when that happens. And we can start exploring productive ways to maybe look at speaking up, but not in a way that automatically pushes away people like you're kind of concerned about. Would you be open to having those kind of conversations? We don't have to do anything outside of session yet.
kind of like you teaching me how to be a little bit nicer when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so instead of saying something like, I don't like your friends, I don't want to go there, they're stupid. Maybe we learn how to say, I only want to be there for an hour. And then after an hour, I would like to go. And we can work on some of those things and see where that gets with our boyfriend and maybe even other people in our life.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That sounds like a really good game plan. So remember what I said. This week, you're going to pay attention to those feelings in your body. And we will talk some more on this boundaries word next week.
All right. Thank you. Sorry if my mouth got a little bit sassy.
No, you were great. It was really nice meeting with you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.